Well, I wrote this book because I got tired of reading articles about millennials that said nobody understands millennials, even millennials. Have characteristics that are driven by the history of their youth. And I felt like if people could understand more about the challenges and strengths of these young women, then it helps everybody. It helps the young women, it helps the people who are dealing with them. The other reason I wrote it is that I've been studying generations for several decades. And I found this group of women different from all the other women I've ever seen in other generations. Every group of women has its strengths and challenges. But here comes a group of women who are very different. They're living the feminist movement, they're physically strong, and there's several other things. But I felt it was really important to understand why these women are so different, how they're changing our image of the American woman. The thing that's interesting about this election is we are in the middle of a generational shift. Baby boomers are going out of power. They seem to be, to the younger generation's old style. Younger candidates coming in, they know how to use digital things so they can relate to the candidate. The interesting thing about someone like Donald Trump, he tweets like a millennial. He is tweeting every thought in his mind without filters, and instead of that being a negative, that's a positive to them because they tweet without filters. So you have very interesting things going on in this election that have to do with more than age, that have to do with a generational shift, that have to do with security. These are post 9/11 security moms, and they are very interested in protecting their children. Their children need protection out in society because of terrorism, in the schools because of Columbine-type incidences, and at home because of kidnappings and Amber Alerts. So the ones of the millennials who choose to be stay-at-home mothers are very interested in electing a candidate who will give them a sense of comfort, who they feel are going to clean up the gangs, clean up the crime, take care, make our interactions better with world powers. So this election is up for grabs. On the other, it's not really old versus new. It's who can deliver what their interests are to them. And at this point, age really isn't a factor. These are women who are living the feminist dream. They have choices. They are 15% of the fighting force. They just graduated 2 Army Rangers the other day, and they now can apply to be Navy SEALs. These are stay-at-home mothers. They are breadwinners. Some are choosing to raise dogs and cats instead of children. These women have the choices that the other older generations fought for. So it's not as much let's elect a woman as it is let's elect someone who really who can deal with the things that I'm interested in. So you don't have that card to play in this race. You can try to play it, but it's not going to play that well. Well, one would automatically say Britney Spears, the Kardashians, Miley Cyrus. Not true, because if I had to pick the role models, and this will kind of knock your socks off, I would pick Mother Teresa and Princess Diana, because both of these women were interested in helping people around the world. They both died in 1997, so what did the media do? The coverage was tremendous. These young girls were watching it. What did the media highlight? Their good works for people around the world. That was the earlier branch of millennials. The later group of millennials, what did they see on television? Live 8, a day-long series of concerts held around the world that their purpose was to fight poverty, particularly in Africa. So from the oldest millennial to the youngest millennial, they have been encouraged to reach out to help others. And they are volunteering from preschool. They have to put their volunteer activities on college applications. And I'm going to pick Tulane University as a great example. They require a major volunteer activity every year you're at Tulane. So these young women are encouraged to carry on their traditions of Mother Teresa and Princess Di. Let's change the word entitled to empowered. And there's a reason why. History drives generational characteristics. So the reason why they feel empowered is that they were given every chance by society. They had strong families, strong religious upbringing, strong government support programs. When you get that much support as a young child, you do feel as if you have enough power to rise to the top with enough left over to help other people. And two of my favorite examples would be a young woman who in 2004 ran for mayor of her town. She was 17 years old, and she ran for mayor, and her campaign slogan was, "Uncorrupted by years of experience." She lost, but fast forward 10 years to 2014, and you have Elise Stefanik, who became the youngest woman ever to be elected to the House, to the Congress. And she's from New York State's 21st District. This is remarkable that these young women feel as if they are fully capable of making great changes in the world. I received 4 U.S. Senate research fellowships to study generations. And when I left government service, I realized that it really made a difference in how America moved ahead. So since that time, I have been studying and teaching and consulting about American generations. It's really important to me that we understand each other. America is a country that has always pulled together. We are divided at the moment. We will pull together again. But understanding generational differences, which are true and valid, is critical.